Welcome to this BiofilmQ tutorial. My name is Hannah and today we will have a closer look at the options you can choose for plotting. We are going to focus on this panel here, which shows the different options we can use for plotting. You can see that I can pick my plot type in this drop-down menu here, and depending on which plot type you choose, you can see the different fields down here getting active. Every field which is red needs to be filled with the proper parameter. You can fill such a field by selecting the parameter in the list up here and clicking on the plus button next to the field. You can see now that it has turned white because a valid parameter has been entered. I can also manually change these parameters, and if I put an invalid name, it's going to appear red again. Once I have put a parameter in here, you can see that the label, the unit, as well as the range is automatically adapted. The label determines how your axis in the plot will be labeled later. The unit is also part of the label and will be displayed behind the word which is typed in here. You can choose the range of your plot, which means the range of your axis, and you have the option to either automatically pick the range or to manually change it in here. If you automatically pick a range, you can either use the range which was filled by the program, or you can choose one of the two methods here, which are 1 to 99% of the data or min-max. In this case, the lowest 1% of the data will be discarded and the minimal value will then be used at the minimal limit of the axis, and also the highest 1% of the data will be discarded and the remaining maximal value will determine the maximal limit of the axis. Whereas if you choose min-max, the minimal as well as maximal value determine the axis limits. Depending on your type of plot, you can also choose the number of bins. In an additional tutorial, the histogram tutorial, you can learn more about choosing the appropriate number of bins for your data. You can choose to display your axis logarithmically by checking the checkbox back here where it says log. Depending on your plot type, you might have to choose an averaging method. For example, if you want to make a 2D plot per frame, it means that all the cubes per frame are going to be averaged. So if, for example, you calculate fluorescence intensity, you're going to get an average per frame, and you can, for example, plot a time series. The method of averaging you can pick in this method field here. You can pick mean, whereas it's going to be normalized by the object biomass, mean which is not normalized by biomass, median and upper-lower quartile, as well as some minimal or maximal value which will be displayed. In the style of the plot, you can determine if your plot is supposed to consist of lines, scattering, stairs, or bars. In case that you have chosen one of the three options up here, you can display error bars, and these error bars will be the standard deviations in the first two cases and the upper and lower quartile in the third case. So now you have learned more about this option field here, and details on how to perform plotting are going to be explained in additional tutorials.